So what if one lens could deliver stunning image quality, incredible versatility, and I've got it right here. It's a video first lens by Nikon, the 28-135 power zoom. This is pretty incredible and I am so excited to share everything about this lens, good, bad, and everything in between. So just a quick disclaimer, Nikon are sponsoring this video. They did send the lens, the Nikon Z8 and Z9 over for review. I do have to send them back, but they have zero control over what I say and I can share all my own opinions. The NIKKOR 28-135 is Nikon's first power zoom lens designed for video creators. It's got a minimum aperture of an f4 to an f22. It features 2 custom buttons, a power zoom rocker, an autofocus to manual focus switch, a custom ring, a zoom and focus ring. It has a rotatable lens collar, a lens hood. It has a front filter thread of 95mm. It's fully weather sealed and has a nice gold ring at the base of the lens. And at the time of the release, the price comes in at 3,399 Australian dollars or 2,599 United States dollars. Now look, I understand the correct pronunciation of Nikon is Nikon and not Nikon. I always say Nikon, so if I do say Nikon, very sorry in advance, but I'm so used to saying it. Now there's a lot we got to uncover in this video when it comes to image quality, the versatility, how it actually performs when it comes to autofocus on the Nikon bodies. But one of the things that I am excited about is that this is a really strong push in the direction for video creators. So indie filmmakers, videographers, freelancers, anyone who creates video, this is a really powerful lens because it covers such a massive versatile range with 28 all the way to 135. So this is pretty much how I've been using it over the last couple of weeks, and it's been a very good experience on the shoots, mainly for the fact that I don't really use zoom lenses. I absolutely love primes. But having the versatility of this zoom lens, it really does make things so much quicker, especially when it comes to my sports shoots and CrossFit stuff, because I don't actually have to move forward and back. I literally just zoom in and out. And I really didn't think I was going to like this lens as much as I do, but having that versatility in these particular situations just makes my workflow so much faster because I can literally just reframe literally in a couple of seconds and restart exactly what I'm shooting. And especially when it came to this wheelchair athlete, there are only so many times we can actually get her to climb up that rope. So, you know, having that ability to actually zoom out and get a few seconds with the wide shot and then zoom in and get a few tights, get a few mid shots, the versatility on this thing just made it so much easier. And look, whether you're a prime lens or a zoom type of a person, it really depends on the job you're actually using these on. I can see a lot of wedding filmmakers, corporate shooters, event videography shooters, indie filmmakers could really make the use out of this lens. But even just small commercials and social media content that I've been using this for will work incredibly well. So also talking about the zoom, there are 3 different ways you can utilize this. Now, you can obviously zoom directly on the ring itself. If you actually zoom in and zoom out really slow on the actual lens, obviously it will go nice and slow, but if you rip it really fast, it will actually zoom fast because it is zoom by wire. Now you do have the zoom rocker on the left-hand side, which says W and T, wide and telephoto. Similar thing, if you push it really slowly, you can get some really nice, slow, smooth zooms and pullouts, which is fantastic. But there's also a third thing, utilizing it with the gimbal. Now, because there's teeth on the actual zoom ring, I connect this directly to that teeth, and then I can utilize my gimbal to zoom in and zoom out really slowly or fast. This is great for event videographers, wedding videographers. There's so many use cases for this, but just amazing for run and gun videographers because you don't actually have to have one hand on the gimbal and one hand doing the zoom control. So fantastic, but you can also obviously have one also on the focus motor. So if you actually want to focus and zoom, you've got 2 different things there. And you can see how useful and slow this is. I'm actually utilizing the zoom rocker right now on the side, and you can see there, wide and telephoto. I'm zooming out really slowly. This is obviously full speed. You can see there, zooming forward, zooming back, full speed, and then obviously going really slow. So fantastic for creators who want that really nice slow zoom. And this is the biggest benefit of having a power zoom, is that you can't really achieve the same when doing the hand focus on the actual zoom ring itself. That zoom rocker is going to give you so much more of a smoother zoom. Now, when it comes to balancing this thing on a gimbal, this is the really impressive thing, because it is all internal zoom. So it's not going to extend, it's not going to throw your gimbal out of balance when you're actually changing that focal length from 28 to 135. So it's going to be really great for run and gun filmmakers if you do actually use any kind of stabilizers. Now, when it comes to the image quality, you can see here on the chart, it's pretty much optically perfect. In the center and out to the edges, it is really nice and sharp. It's meant to be an absolute workhorse lens that gets the job done. And this is pretty much the same throughout the whole 28 to 135 focal length, and even with the distortion throughout the whole zoom range, there doesn't seem to be any. There's just a little bit of vignetting throughout the whole focal range, but it's barely noticeable. And also, when we look at longitudinal chromatic aberrations, there pretty much isn't any. And this is the minimum focusing distance at 28 millimeters, and this is the minimum focusing distance at 135 millimeters, so pretty decent performance there. And I've been pairing this with the Nikon Z8, and it's been absolutely phenomenal, especially when it comes to 8K. It can really show the resolution of that 8K sensor because it's so sharp. You're able to see so much detail in your scene, and I am super impressed with the image quality. But here's some of the footage coming out of this lens. So practically, when it comes to the autofocus in all my shoots, it performed incredible. Now, obviously this is an f4, so the depth of field isn't as shallow as, say, like an f1.8. But the Nikon's autofocus system is really fast. This lens keeps up absolutely incredible. I had no issues when it came to these shoots. So I had to do a walking test or a running test walking towards. This is at the 28mm. It was perfectly fine. I didn't see any issues, and it didn't look like it went off my face at all. So the face tracking is super sticky and responsive. And the same thing with 48mm here. I didn't see any issues here. Now, obviously the depth of field is a little bit more shallow than 28mm, but you can see here it sticks to my face perfectly fine. So it doesn't seem like there's going to be any issues with autofocus performance. And now we'll have a look at the flaring test. With the 28mm, there doesn't really seem to be too much flaring, but if we do go to the 135, this is where it does sort of ghost a little bit. But in my opinion, I always love these kind of flarings in all my videos. But if you do want to try and control the flaring, obviously that's where you use that included sun hood. And looking at the focus breathing at 28mm, there pretty much is none. And similar thing at 135, there doesn't really seem to be much focus breathing at all. Now, the customizable ring is a pretty interesting feature that I've never really used before because, well, the lenses that I have don't actually have this. I've actually programmed this to be my aperture, so I can get some really nice aperture pulls if I really wanted to, but this is very easy to customize in your menu system. All you need to do is go to the third icon down, all the way down to F to controls, and select F2, custom controls shooting. Then work your way all the way down to the custom lens ring. And you can see here you can choose aperture, exposure compensation, or ISO sensitivity. Now, the only caveat with this lens, from my opinion, happens to be that front filter thread. Now, it's a 95mm thread, and pretty much all my ND filters are 82mm. So you're going to need a step down ring from 95 to 82. Otherwise, in my situation, I do actually have a matte box where I can put the 4x5.65 filters directly in there. They are hard stop filters. It's not a variable ND filter, but these filters can actually be far more accurate for filmmakers. Now, this is what you have currently. It actually comes with this lens hood, but the cool thing is, if you do actually have a filter that's big enough to, to fit directly on the front, you've got this thing right here. So you flick this up and you can actually make adjustments on your ND filter which gives it obviously that access. It's so easy and you don't have to reach around and do the adjustments there. So really good to have, but like I said, in my situation, all I've got are these hard stop ND filters on the back here for this really large matte box system. But hey, each to their own. It really depends on which one you prefer. So the last feature I do have to talk about, and is a little bit of a con for some people, and that is being an f4 lens. Now, I understand there are some people that do some weddings and there are low light situations that you can't control. This is where a 24 to 70 f2.8 would probably be better in some situations. But if you do have the ability to at least bring a light or shoot in slightly brighter situations, the f4 shouldn't be an issue. But some of these camera bodies have some pretty incredible low light performance, and having an f4 lens isn't going to be an issue in low light anymore. And if you are that kind of person that needs low light performance, well then this is where you would pair it with, say, the 50 f1.2 or even that brand new 35mm f1.2 lens, and get more light into the sensor with those fast prime lenses. So that's what you would pair it with, this lens. Overall, when it comes to documentary filmmakers, indie filmmakers, videographers, this is going to be an incredibly powerful lens in your kit. You know, it's really sharp, it offers superior image quality, and obviously that versatility from 28 to 135 is pretty amazing. And obviously, judging by the autofocus performance and image quality you get out of this thing, it is pretty much a no-brainer to have this in your kit. So thanks for watching, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, and obviously thanks to Nikon for sending this over, but unfortunately, I do have to send it back, and obviously the Z8 and Z9 as well. So yeah, that kind of sucks, but thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get it.